Hello and welcome to No Particular Order, Mana Biscuit's weekly top 5 list show where we list our top 5 whatevers in no particular order. This week, it's the Christmas season. It's our 5 favorite things about Christmas. All right, as always, we're going to get right into our list. This week, Jay, you were the first one ready with your list. We're going to put you up first.
All right. There are lots of things that I enjoy about Christmas, and, well, there were lots of things that should have made the list that didn't. First up on my list is the Charlie Brown Christmas special. I have a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Yeah, and a Charlie Brown nativity scene. I enjoy that whole thing, and particularly the "I Gotta Rock" portion. It's always made me laugh. It's one of those things that I'll say, like, we'll play Magic or something, and I got a great hand. I got a great hand. I got a rock. And one of those things. Next up on my list is Christmas lights. I fond memories as a child of going out, driving through the country and seeing the Christmas lights. It was a really good memory with my family. Next up on the list is real trees. The fake Christmas tree thing just doesn't cut it for me. The smell of the pine tree, the having to care for it, that kind of thing. It's good. Next up on the list is The Simpsons. Ultimately, The Simpsons Christmas special. It was the one and only episode my parents let me watch when I was 8 years old. After that, it was no more of this unless I snuck downstairs and watched it while they were looking. Last on my list, this list wouldn't be complete without some sort of a video game reference. So, WoW Presents. I actually really like going through and seeing what Blizzard has planned for every Christmas holiday. And the toys continue to pile up in my bank.
Well, the thing about WoW Christmas too is, I mean, for people who've been playing the game like, old school nerds like us, it came out right around Christmas time. So that was like the first holiday they did. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of memories for me there. My first few weeks in the game was mm-hmm. Christmas. So that's cool. And also good call on Charlie Brown, considering you're pretty much Charlie Brown with a goatee. Yeah. So, yeah. You got a rock. All right, TJ, what do you got?
I'm going to start off my list with one of my most beloved Christmas things, which was Will Vinton's Christmas Claymation Celebration, which a lot of people won't recognize by name, but some folks right around our age would probably recognize it when described as the Claymation Christmas Special with the California raisins in it. And they also it was hosted by two Claymation dinosaurs, one of whom continually misunderstood the lyrics to Here We Come a Wassailing, and then there were different, like, Here We Come a Waffling and a Waddling, all through the entire thing, and I just adore that special. I've bought it on DVD twice. The first time I had to pay an exorbitant amount for it, and then I gave it away as a Christmas present, and then I had to buy one for myself, and it's something I have to watch every year, otherwise it's not Christmas. The next thing is something that, as long as I can remember, has just screamed Christmas to me, which is the Chipmunks Christmas album. Yeah. There's just it's so beautifully awful. Like, it's just it just touches my heart, and we can hardly stand the wait. Please, Christmas, don't be late. Next up is something that's only Christmassy to me, and that's Barnes & Noble at Christmas time. There's something different about Barnes & Noble at Christmas than there is about going there the entire rest of the year. And I think it mostly falls back to me, like, my first semi-adult Christmas was shortly after we got our own Barnes & Noble here in town, and I spent a lot of time there, and there's something about it that's just inextricably, like, stuck in my association with Christmas now. Next on my list is a movie that I adore and I watch every Christmas, and people will probably make fun of me for it, but I don't care. It's Love Actually, which I watch every Christmas, and I adore that movie. Did I just hear an
Jay loves that movie.
That was originally on my list, and I totally forgot about
Oh
it.
man, I'm glad I got to snake it because I love that movie. And then my final entry on my list is no longer working in retail with that incessant god awful musical accompaniment. Because there's just certain Christmas songs that I just can't tolerate anymore, and mostly it's all the the things I think of as non-classic. If it's from like the 40s or the 50s or even to some extent like the early 60s, I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. But then you get into some of the stuff from the 70s and like Paul McCartney wants to make a Christmas song and like I'm like, no, guys, just stop it. Just everybody stop it.
But I Am Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. I
No!
love that song.
I hate that song. Work at Meyer sometime and just hear it on the loop. Because it's like every third song. Because they're like, we're the hip store that plays.
TJ, we're going to have a Man of Biscuit no particular order first here in terms of screwing up our lists. Because number one on my list was no longer working in retail. I worked in retail grand total of 9 years, I think, when it was all said and done. My first Christmas out of retail was 2011, and I will never forget, and I will never go back. It wasn't just the music. I actually, well, as I said, I enjoyed the song. It's just dealing with insane people. That's
bad, but it for me wasn't that bad. I kind of liked the hectic nature of the holidays and like the craziness, but the music made me wish I were dead. It's really interesting though. Several years out from being in retail, I can go into a store and I'll hear the Christmas music and I'll be like, "Oh yay, it's Christmas!" Meanwhile, everybody that works in retail has already been subjected to this for like 3 weeks before I even noticed it, and they're all like, "I wish I were dead." And I'm like, "Yay, it's Christmas!"
Well, yeah, that's boy, we're getting tangential here, so let me get in my list. But I will say one more time on the one more thing about number one on my list, no longer working in retail, is Christmas creep. The fact that when you're working in retail, Christmas starts in September. But anyway, moving on. Next up on my list is Dem Nogs.
Nogs.
We had a debate over whether or not it should be eggnog or custard nog, but I said, you know what? I love all the nogs. I don't care.
I had a mint chocolate nog last year that was awesome.
Yes, nogs of all varieties can get in my belly now. Okay, next up. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, love that. I mean, and as many things have been on these lists, it's just not Christmas without it. Another thing that I really enjoy around Christmas, although I don't really go out of my way for it, but at least once, I have to get into the bustle of the holiday season as a customer and just soak up like the Christmas displays at the mall and how everything's all pretty. And, you know, eventually it wears thin. And yes, it's all over commercialization of Christmas. And it's really easy to be cynical about that. And I'm usually cynical, but every once in a while I like to take a break from the cynicism and just be genuine and earnest and appreciate things. All right.
Let me know when this happens.
Well, none of you will be around. These are my quiet moments of reflection and solitude. This
is what I do when I close the door and cry.
Right. Put on a little Regina Spektor and lastly on my list, another movie that's probably terrible to a lot of people. It's not going to get a lot of love, but I just love this movie. I love watching it with my family around Christmas time because we all love it so much. It's Jingle All the Way.
Oh, wow.
It's Sinbad. Sinbad is hilarious, and he makes that movie for me. That and like watching it, like I said, with my family and everything. So that's my list. Jay, you had at least one honorable mention, I think.
I did. It's the classic, the elf, Herbie, the elf that wanted to be the dentist in the Island of Toys.
Yeah,
absolutely. It was my favorite of all of the, Rudolph and all of the. There was one other one that I'm missing. But the whole claymation Santa Claus
Well,
thing.
yeah, there's Santa Claus is Coming to Town, The Year Without a Santa
So,
Claus, like all those early
yeah.
60s. It wasn't technically claymation, it was more of a stop motion animation
Stop
thing.
motion, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, that whole category can go into honorable mentions. The '60s era Christmas specials, stop motion Christmas specials, particularly though Rudolph. I think.
Yeah, Rudolph.
Yeah, the Misfit toys in general, love that stuff. All right, any other honorable mentions before we move on? No. Okay. Top 5 of the top 5. We're running a little long, but you know it's a little Christmas present, a little extra, no particular order for you this year. Let's
Charlie
go.
Brown.
Charlie Brown, absolutely. Eggnogs.
Yeah, Nogs.
All right. TJ, from your list, what did you want? Go ahead.
I nominated one of Jay's, but I kind of want to go with the Chipmunks.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
I'll
absolutely.
get behind that one.
Chipmunks. Yeah, Chipmunks, Trans-Siberian Orchestra,
And
and
since we shared it, no more retail.
no more retail. Or may nobody have to work in retail in the holidays, unless that's your bag. I mean, you know.
Yeah, like maybe you just really dig being in a store on Christmas.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our top 5 of the top 5. We got honorable mentions. Let us know what your favorite things about Christmas are in the comments, and we'll talk about them on next week's Mana Biscuit. But for now, we're getting out of here. We'll be back next week with more No Particular Order. Bye-bye.